The crystal water glass slipped from my fingers as my nephew's words registered. Time slowed as I watched it shatter against the hardwood floor, sending shards and liquid across the dining room. In that splinter of silence before everyone reacted, I saw it all with painful clarity. The smirk on my sister Naomi's face, the satisfied gleam in 11-year-old Parker's eyes as he pulled back the chair he'd just kicked away from me. "Servants don't sit with us," Parker announced, looking directly at me. "Mom said so." The Sunday dinner conversation stopped. 18 family members, my entire extended family, stared at the scene unfolding. Naomi smiled into her wine glass. "Parker, that's not polite," my mother said, but then added, "But you said Aunt Rebecca is basically the help. You said she serves us." Uncle Samuel laughed first, then my brother-in-law, then my cousin Catherine. Within seconds, the entire table erupted in genuine laughter. Not uncomfortable chuckling, real, hearty laughter. My mother covered her mouth, but her shoulders shook. Parker looked pleased with himself, foot still positioned to kick the chair if I tried to pull it back. "My name is Rebecca. I'm 36 and a former tech CEO. This is the story of how I stopped buying the respect my family never intended to give." I'd been the family's invisible benefactor for 7 years. After selling my startup for $47 million at 29, I'd established a trust worth $12 million that supported everyone from my sister to my cousin's children. The family believed the money came from a fictional great-uncle Bernard. I never corrected them. It was easier than explaining my success to people who had always seen me as the struggling single woman with some vague middle management job. I met Naomi's eyes across the room. She stared back, still smiling, and shrugged as if to say, "Kids, what can you do?" The message was crystal clear. My exclusion wasn't an accident. It was policy. My throat tightened as I picked up my purse from the entry table and walked out the front door without saying a word. Behind me, I heard Uncle Samuel say, "Well, that was dramatic," followed by more laughter. I sat in my car for a moment before starting the engine. The sprawling colonial house where Naomi hosted these dinners looked warm and inviting through the windows. Inside, my family was sitting down to a meal, probably already forgetting I'd been there. Every Sunday dinner had been the same for years. Subtle jabs about my single status, comments about working too much, questions about when I'd get a real life. I'd learned to stay quiet, to smile through the veiled insults. I funded their lives while they treated me like an outsider. The irony burned in my chest as I drove away. I drove back to my downtown apartment, the one I'd kept despite having enough money to buy a mansion, because I'd never felt the need to show off my wealth. Once home, I poured myself a glass of wine and tried to let go of the evening's tension. At 9:47 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Naomi. Finally gone. 2 words. Not, "Are you okay?" Not sorry about Parker, just finally gone. Like my absence was cause for celebration. Though we barely spoke outside family gatherings, we'd exchanged numbers years ago for coordinating holiday gifts and family events. I stared at those words for a full minute, the screen's blue glow illuminating my face in the dark apartment. The text crystallized everything, years of dismissive comments, exclusionary behavior, and thinly veiled contempt. All while my money paid for their children's education, their vacations, their comfortable lives. My fingers hovered over the screen, ready to respond with something cutting. Instead, I set down the phone and walked to my home office. The filing cabinet unlocked with a metallic click that seemed to echo my decision. 3rd drawer down, a folder labeled Harrison Family Trust. I'd established the trust 7 years ago, shortly after my windfall. The trust held $12 million, generating substantial annual income for the beneficiaries. Naomi received $120,000 annually. Her 3 children each had education funds worth $500,000. My brother Daniel got $80,000 annually. His 2 kids had similar education accounts. My mother received $60,000 yearly. Various cousins, nieces, and nephews all received distributions or had funds set aside. The trust documents were clear. I was the grantor and trustee. I had full discretionary authority to add or remove beneficiaries. The trust was revocable at my sole discretion. My heart pounded as I pulled up my lawyer's contact information and sent an email at 10:30 p.m. "David, Please prepare immediate revocation documents for the Harrison Family Trust. I want all beneficiaries removed and the trust dissolved effective immediately. Transfer all assets to my personal accounts. Process this tonight if possible. Rebecca. David, who had helped me establish the trust years ago and managed all my legal affairs, called at 10:47 p.m. Rebecca, I just saw your email. Are you absolutely certain about this? Completely. This trust supports your entire family, your sister, your brother, their children. I'm aware. What happened? I told him about dinner, about Parker kicking the chair, about servants don't sit with us, about 18 people laughing, about Naomi's text. Silence on his end then. Jesus Christ. Can you process the revocation tonight? I can draft the documents and file them electronically. The trust administrator can execute the transfers by morning. But Rebecca, this is $12 million. This is going to devastate them. They've already received distributions for this quarter. Those cleared last week, so they got their money for the next 3 months. After that, nothing. You're giving them 3 months' notice. I'm giving them more than they gave me. They took about 3 seconds to laugh at me being physically excluded from the family table. All right, I'll process everything tonight. You'll see confirmation by 6 a.m. After we hung up, I typed a response to Naomi. Like your inheritance. I knew she'd immediately understand what I meant when she checked the trust account in the morning, as she did religiously on the first of each month and whenever she was planning a major purchase. I turned off my phone and went to bed. For the first time in years, I slept without wondering if I was doing enough for my family. At 6:14 a.m., my phone was already ringing when I turned it on. Naomi. I let it ring through. She called again immediately. Again. By 6:30, she'd called 14 times. The email from David arrived at 6:22 a.m. Trust revocation complete. All assets transferred to your accounts. Beneficiaries will see 0 balances when they check today. Documents filed with the county. It's done. At 6:45, a text from Naomi. Call me right now. Something's wrong with the trust account. I didn't respond. My brother Daniel called at 7:12. I answered. Rebecca, what the hell is going on? I just checked the trust account and it shows 0. The whole thing is empty. That's correct. What do you mean, that's correct? Where's the money? I revoked the trust. The money's back in my accounts. Your accounts? That's not your money. That's family money from Great Uncle Bernard. My lips curved into a smile he couldn't see. There is no Great Uncle Bernard, Daniel. I made him up. I funded that trust 7 years ago with my own money, $12 million of my money, and I've dissolved it. Silence. That's not possible. Check the trust documents. I'm listed as grantor and trustee. The trust was revocable at my discretion. I exercised that discretion last night. Why would you do this? Because last night your nephew physically prevented me from sitting at the dinner table. Because he announced that servants don't sit with the family. Because 18 people, including you, laughed. Because Naomi texted me, finally gone, like she was celebrating getting rid of me. Rebecca, Parker's 11 years old. He meant exactly what Naomi taught him. That I'm beneath you all. That I'm the help. And you know what? I'm done paying people who think I'm their servant. This is insane. Naomi depends on that money. The kids' college funds should have been protected by their parents, not their aunt, who apparently doesn't deserve a chair at the table. I hung up. The relief was immediate and physical, like setting down a weight I'd carried for years. By 8 a.m., I had 37 missed calls. By 9 a.m., someone was pounding on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. Naomi, still in her pajamas, hair uncombed, face blotchy from crying. I didn't open the door. She must have driven straight over after checking the account, not even taking time to change out of her nightclothes. She knew my address from the few times she'd dropped off the children for me to watch them years ago. Rebecca, open this door right now. We need to talk. Her voice was shrill, panicked. I waited. The trust is empty. $12 million is gone. Parker's college fund, Emma's, Jackson's, all of it. The accounts show 0. I still didn't open the door. This is because of last night? Because of a stupid joke? She was crying now. You're going to destroy my children's future over a joke? I called through the door. It wasn't a joke, Naomi. Your son physically kicked a chair to prevent me from sitting down. He said, "Servants don't sit with the family." You smiled. Everyone laughed. Then you texted me, "Finally gone." That wasn't humor. That was cruelty. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? You always make things awkward at family dinners. You never talk to anyone. You just sit there judging us. I sit there quietly because every time I open my mouth, someone makes a comment about me being single or childless or working too much. Last month at Mom's birthday, you told everyone I was married to my laptop. 3 months ago at Easter, Uncle Samuel asked if I was a lesbian because I don't date. I've learned to stay quiet. So you're punishing my children because your feelings were hurt. I'm stopping financial support for people who treat me like hired help. That's not punishment, that's consequence. Rebecca, please. That money, it's not just fun money. I budget around it. The kids' college funds are their entire future. My annual distribution covers Emma's private school tuition, Parker's hockey league, Jackson's. You should have thought about that before teaching your 11-year-old to kick chairs and announce that I'm not worthy of sitting with the family. He's a child. He was repeating something I said without context. What context makes servants don't sit with us acceptable? Silence from the other side of the door. Then, you're really not going to fix this? There's nothing to fix. The trust is dissolved. The money is mine. It was always mine. We'll sue. We'll get lawyers. I am grantor and trustee of a revocable discretionary trust. I have absolute legal authority to dissolve it. Any lawyer will tell you that. Save your money. I heard her slide down against the door, sobbing. I felt a twist in my chest, but didn't open the door. After 10 minutes, she left. Over the next week, the family assault came in waves. My mother showed up on day 2, begging me to reconsider. Think of the children, Rebecca. They're innocent. The children watched 18 adults laugh at me being physically excluded from a table. They're learning that cruelty is acceptable. Maybe this will teach them differently. Daniel sent a 5-page email detailing all the ways the family had been there for me over the years, conveniently forgetting that most of those instances involved me writing checks. Uncle Samuel left a voicemail calling me a selfish person who was destroying the family over nothing. His anger was palpable even through the recorded message. Naomi sent 43 texts over 3 days. They started with apologies, moved to bargaining, then landed on threats. I'll tell everyone what you did. The whole family will cut you off. Mom will never speak to you again. You'll regret this for the rest of your life. I didn't respond to any of them. On day 8, after dissolving the trust, I was sitting in my living room when my cousin Catherine called. She'd been at the dinner, laughed along with everyone else, and received a modest annual distribution from the trust. Rebecca, I need to say something. I'm not calling to beg for money back. I'm calling to apologize. I was silent, surprised. What happened at dinner was awful. I laughed because everyone else was laughing, and I didn't want to make waves, but I've been thinking about it all week. Parker physically prevented you from sitting down. He announced you weren't worthy of eating with the family, and we all just laughed. Yes, that was wrong. Fundamentally wrong. And Naomi's text, finally gone. That was cruel. You didn't overreact. We were horrible to you. Thank you for saying that. I know I don't deserve to ask this, but would you consider talking to Naomi? Not about the money, just about what happened. I think she genuinely doesn't understand how bad it was. Catherine, she texted me, finally gone. She understood exactly what she was doing. You're right. I'm sorry. I hate seeing the family fall apart. The family fell apart when everyone decided I was beneath them. I'm just making the financial reality match the social one. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment and thought about Parker, 11 years old, being taught that some people don't deserve chairs at the table, being taught that family can be divided into those who serve and those who are served. I opened my laptop and drafted an email to David. David, I want to establish 3 new education trusts, $500,000 each for Parker, Emma, and Jackson. The funds will be accessible when they turn 25, not 18. Conditions: they must complete a 4-year degree and 1 year of volunteer service work. The trust will be managed by an independent trustee, not me, and Naomi will have no access to or knowledge of them until the kids turn 18. I don't want them punished for their parents' behavior, but I want them to learn something about service before they get this money. Draft the documents, Rebecca. I hit send, then opened a new message to Naomi. Your children's original education funds are gone, but I've established new ones under different terms. They'll learn about them when they turn 18. The funds will require them to earn degrees and complete service work before accessing the money. I won't tell you the amounts. You'll have to trust that I've taken care of them despite you teaching your son that I'm the help. As for your annual distribution and everyone else's, those are gone permanently. Get used to living on what you actually earn. And Naomi, I'm not the one who destroyed this family. You did that when you taught your son to kick chairs. I sent it before I could reconsider. Her response came within minutes. I hope you're happy being alone with your money. I replied, I'm happier than I was trying to sit at a table where I wasn't welcome. I blocked her number, turned off my phone, and looked around my quiet apartment. No family dinners, no holiday obligations, no more pretending that writing checks made me worthy of basic human respect. The next morning, after a night of reflection, I sat at my kitchen table and made a decision. I donated $5 million to an organization that provided meals for homeless families, people who understood what it meant to be excluded from tables, people who knew the difference between servants and family. In the months that followed, no legal action ever materialized from Naomi's threats. The family adjusted to their new financial reality, with some struggling more than others. My mother called occasionally, our relationship permanently altered but not completely severed. Catherine and I maintained sporadic contact, the only family member I still spoke with regularly. As for the children, their new trusts remained secure, waiting for them to grow into adults who might understand the value of treating people with dignity. Some people inherit wealth, some people inherit cruelty, and some people learn eventually that you can't buy respect with trust funds, but you can stop funding disrespect. Before you go, here's a quick recommendation if you enjoyed this story. If you love learning and growing like I do, you'll find great inspiration in audiobooks about setting healthy boundaries and building authentic relationships.